Okay, so now that you've cleaned up your CSV file, it's now ready for importing into the CRM. If you are using Google, then basically you'll have to just download it as a CSV file. If you're using Excel, then you can save it as a CSV file. But basically, I've already saved that. And what we're going to do now is we're going to show you how to import it. So you go to database on the left-hand side, then you go into the import button just here. We're going to click on that import and it's going to allow you to select a CSV file. So we're going to click on this and we're going to choose that CSV file that we just saved and it's going to upload that CSV file. Now you can upload it directly to your contacts or you can actually upload it to a specific form that you may have created prior. But for now, it's always advisable to upload a new CSV file as a contact first. And then if you have any other data that you want to use in a merge field or in an automation, then what you do is you create a form and then you map out that piece of data to that form later on. So I'll show you how to do that. But for now, let's just import this CSV file as to your contacts. Okay, so just upload it to your contacts. Obviously, there are other options here. Okay, you can upload it to pipelines, you can upload it to a form, but again, we're just going to keep it simple and upload to contacts. Now, we're going to upload that file that we've just connected up before. And now we're going to map all of the fields. So you always want to opt people in for communication. Okay, so always leave these first three as opt-in. That'll allow you to email, SMS, and call them via the system's phone line, okay? But you can choose whether it's going to be a transactional email or won't receive email. So there are other options, won't receive SMS, but it's always good to just keep your options open. So highly advisable just to leave that as opt-in. Now, what we're doing here is we're not uploading to an existing list. This is a completely new list that doesn't exist. So these contacts from this page do not exist in our CRM. So they're brand new. It's a brand new import. So what we're going to do is we're not going to match by email or phone number. We're just going to say no match, create new leads. So that is the default setting anyway. And what that is saying is, hey, I want to create new leads. I don't want to merge or I don't want to, there's not going to be any duplicates because these emails and phone numbers do not exist in the system. So we're just going to create new leads. And you can also add a system-wide tag to this entire list. So this list here is about 200 people. Okay, it's 180 people or so. And if you wanted to, you could absolutely add a system-wide tag to it. So for example, this list is called pharmacies, right? So everybody in this list owns a pharmacy. Now, if I didn't have this tag right here, where's the tag? Right here. If I didn't have this tag called pharmacy, if I didn't have that in the CSV file, I certainly would put a tag here that says pharmacy. Now, it's very easy to add a tag. You just got to basically type something in. So you can say tag 3 and then just press enter. And that'll create a brand new tag for you, even if it doesn't exist already in the system. Okay. Now, for now, I don't want to add any new tags to this entire list. So I'm just going to leave that blank. And now we're going to map the fields and we're going to map the fields from the CSV file headings to the fields that are going to be shown in the system and in the CRM. So the first one is ranking notes. And that's the reason why we always recommend that you put either note or tag in the header. So you can see here that was an ABN column, but we put the word note in there. And it just makes it easier to actually import. So I know that what that is, that's ranking, okay? So I'm just going to put that in notes, first name to first name. Now, for example, if I didn't change this, so this was actually said something like username or something like that, then basically it would have come up here as username, and you just need to figure out, okay, what do I want to map that to? And then you can just click on this here and you can choose which field you want to map that to, okay? But again, that's why it's so important to clean up your CSV file before importing. It just makes this step a lot cleaner and a lot clearer, and you'll be prone to make a lot less mistakes. User email is going to be email last order date. So you can see here, I put the word note in there. So we're going to map that to note. tag and tag. So again, going back to here, you got tag and tag notes. So they're all the little fields that we're mapping, all of these. And we're going to go back and notes, tag, tag. Company is going to be company. ABN, I want to put that and I want to map that to notes. And then address and address, I want to put that as address street. So what that is here is if you go across, that's address street. That's also street address number 2. And then you got city, postcode, so on and so forth. And all of that is going to be mapped. Address to address street, because we know that's the street address. Then we got address city. Then we got postcode. So you can see the system has got this wrong. It thinks that should be a note when it should actually be postcode. So I'm just going to find address, zip code, okay? And I'm going to map this postcode to address, zip code instead of notes. State is state code, country is country, so that's all fine. Phone is phone. You can see, again, with the mobile phone, it's trying to map it to notes, which is incorrect, okay? That is an actual phone number. So if I show you here, that mobile, so sometimes we have their office phone, and then sometimes we also have, as a secondary contact, we have a mobile phone number. In this case, there's one here, okay? Now, basically, we're just going to go mobile, where it says mobile in the CSV header. We're just going to map it inside of Next Level CRM. We're going to map that as phone, and it's going to save 2 phone numbers in the system if they have it, okay? Work website is just website. Total orders, so this is where it goes notes, notes. So again, I've already cleaned it up and named the CSV file header as notes. So I know that's note. That's also note. Alliance Pharmacy is the tag, and then note, and then tag, okay? So you can see how much easier it is to map the fields without having to go back and forth with your CSV file if you just clean up the CSV file first, okay? And so now I'm going to go back here and I'm going to import. And I'm going to show you what happens in the system and how it saves all of these notes and how it saves all of these tags in the system. So in a couple more seconds, that import is going to go through and you'll get a little green signal to say that that's been successful. Okay, so now we've got the big green success sign, and you can see here the contacts that were created is 169. So that's how many people were in the CSV file. Okay, now I'm going to show you what this actually looks like on inside of your database. So you can see everything's been successful. You can see how many were updated. So if the contact already existed, then that would say, hey, that's how many people updated. But this is basically all brand new contacts, okay? And it'll show you any invalids, so on and so forth. So you can just read through that. But basically, let's go to database, and I'm going to clear the filters on the right-hand side. And you can see that it's imported all of those tags, which I wanted to map out before. So you can see here, there was a tag called buy one, get one free. So if that tag existed in their row, in that contact, it would then apply that tag. You can also see that it's updated the note. I'm going to show you that as well. And you can see here, if I go back across, you can see that it has updated all of the tags and notes. So I'll show you all of this right now. So for example, let's go into here. So they're registered and they're a pharmacy. So I know that this person has registered an account in our system, and they're also a pharmacy and not a dentist or any other industry. So now I click inside of this contact, and 99% of the time, you're going to have a first name and last name right here, okay? It's not going to be the name of the company, but in our case with this CSV file, we have to work with what we've got. And so here you're going to see the owner, and that's the person that owns this contact. So that could be normally that would be a salesperson, okay? And then you can see the company here, and they're all listed under companies as well. So if you click on companies inside of your database, it's going to show you all the different names of all the different companies, okay? So let's go back to contacts actually, and let's go back into this person, and you're going to see that it's saved all of the emails, phone, website, address, so on and so forth. But this is the interesting part. So everything that I wanted to map out as a note is now showing inside of the contacts activity timeline in the middle. Okay, so you got notes, note, note, note. And you can see here, I can now see the total order amount has been $46 to date. They've only placed one order with us. And then the last order date was that date. Okay, and this is all come from the CSV file, all this information. And you can also see that we've imported that ranking column as a note. And so now it's showing that their ranking is 10. Okay, I'm going to do that a little bit later because I'm going to start scoring these people. So you can see that in our system, you can score people for quality and score people for engagement. Okay, so if I click on this, I can choose a number between 1 and 100. Okay, and that'll show me how warm and how hot and how good the lead is and how good their engagement is. And I can also import the quality. Okay, so if they're really good, we can give them an A. If they're not that great, we can give them an F. Okay, so that's our scoring system, and we can update that later, and I'll show you how to do that. Now, sometimes you're going to want to import some of these fields, okay, so that you can use it inside of an automation. And I'll give you an example. So let's say, for example, I wanted to say in an email, and I wanted to send out a couple of hundred emails to all of these different pharmacies and say, hey, I noticed that your last order was, and I wanted to pull this particular piece of data inside of that message and say, hey, I noticed your last order was on, and then it would then pull this date, okay? And then I could say something like, hey, I noticed your last order was on, and then pull this date, and for the amount of, and then pull this number, okay? That will be an example of how to use a custom variable or a custom field inside of an automation. Now, basically, if you want to do this, we want to import the same CSV file, but this time we want to import it into a form so that we can then utilize this in this custom data as a custom field in the automation messages. So I'll show you how to do that in the next video. But for now, this is how notes and tags works. So you can see here, the tags are separated here. So you can see is that they're a registered pharmacy. So if I wanted to see everybody that was a registered pharmacy, okay. So for example, I can go let's go back to database and let's go to tags. And I could just say, I want to see everybody that is a pharmacy. So you can see here, it's showing me 169 contacts who are pharmacies. But now I just want to see everybody that is an Alliance Pharmacy, right? And they're a part of that Alliance Pharmacy network. Let's see how many people here. So you can see it's gone from 169 to 29 pharmacies, okay? And I can just get rid of that, and it should still show me 29, okay? So now I can see that these are not only pharmacies, but they're part of the Alliance Pharmacy network because I've tagged them as such, okay? And then from here, I can obviously add people to automation, send them emails, so on and so forth. But that is how you import a CSV file and utilize notes and utilize tags so that you have a very clean, segmented list of people in your CRM. I'll see you on the next video. Bye.